Hello YouTube, it's Rob. Welcome back, or welcome if this is your first time seeing one of my videos. Here we are in 7 Grand Steps by Mousechief. We're on the Elite track, and that's what we're going to be talking about at the moment. Because there's a bit more gameplay in the Elite track than something you've run into on the lower tracks. Something that if you're an old-timer like me from back before internet, you might recognize from some of the old BBSs that used to go on. Because there's a management game that you've probably played some iteration before, if you're a real old-timer like me. Now, what do we have? I have literally, I didn't choose this name, Jumoke. Jumoke is my lineage character here, and he's doing good. You know, his mom, we've had 2 generations before, because Jabade got promoted, and then Oda carried on, and now Jumoke's taken on from Oda. And he's married to Nabakashved, they don't love each other, but, you know, they've had 3 kids, so they do get on. We're working towards some heroism, and we did discover schools in the last generation. As you can see, we're also a local hero. Now, something to point out, that the discoveries, I've made discoveries on every tier along the way, actually. Like I discovered the Arch down here in the Laborer track, and I discovered caravans down here on the, I think caravans, well, I discovered caravans somewhere, and I discovered something else here on the Noble track, and those only apply on those tracks, and in that age. So, unless I get demoted back down, that's kind of pointless. But it did give me immediate advantages at the time, so it's not, worthless. Now, I do have a surveying token, so I'm just going to grab that. There we go. Now, here's the owl now brings up the ruling game. Okay, so here we are. Foreign trade add 328 bushels of grain in 6 fields. We harvested 6,531 bushels of grain and planted 373 plant fields. Swarms of ravens infested the fields, destroying 1,211 bushels of grain. 158 bushels were lost to spoilage and crime. Salt accumulation ruined 14 fields. 410 citizens died from violence and aging. Corruptions made our troubles 16% worse. 585 children were born, and 629 citizens entered the workforce. Jumoke commanded great loyalty from other administrators, and Jumoke acquired 1 token in bribes during the year. Now, we acquired 1 token in bribes because we're tolerating corruption at the moment. I'm going to switch to prosecuting so you can see the difference there. The point to make here is that we have 16% corruption at the moment, and we've got 1 token. I have 256 watchmen who are enforcing the spirit of law, which makes the people happier. I have 365 fields in operation, and that's full utilization of the fields. I can put some folks to work in the army or in... See, I have a lot of accumulated power. You start out with these first 4 boxes up here, and then you might pick up additionals. So each one of these sets of 2 boxes is an additional. So while I was in charge of agriculture, then I became in charge of the priests, then I became in charge of the general, the armed forces, and then I became in charge of civic defense. So I'm the chief policeman, chief general, chief agriculturalist, and I'm also in charge of the taxation. So, wow, that's a lot of power for one guy. And yet I can also have foreign policy, which I still don't control. So, land is worth 108 bushels a field. I'm not going to buy or sell any land at the moment, because it's expensive to buy, and I don't want to sell any of my 365 fields. We have granary capacity built up to 7,800, and I have 3 defenses, which is not much in the way of defenses. I am going to need more defenses, but I don't think I have enough land at the moment to really get me more. I'm going to put a lot of people out into the army just to kind of cut them out of the picture. I'm going to make sure I have enough watchmen, though, to make people happy with the spirit of the law. Make sure there's no big crimes. And, right, set that to conquer, and we're just going to make sure, there we go, everybody's employed. Let's go. As my corruption payment, I got a codified law token. As you can see, the kids, I have 3 kids. Kamuni, Pebatma, and Enlil. And Enlil's our most recent kid, and hence the complete unskilledness. Okay. Now, the pawns look different. As you can tell, we're golden pawns now. And Mama has her arm out like this. Nothing, well, she has like no hat. She has like a tiny little diadem. And her feet are together. Dad's feet are apart. Stance is open. Hands are pressed together, kind of like this. And he's wearing a hat, kind of like this. So, to keep them, to tell them apart, crown, hat. Together, apart. Arms out, elbows out, arm out. Okay. That's been our lesson on distinguishing between the genders in the Copper Age. Hope you found that useful. Now, we're going to show you the difference between my accepting corruption and prosecuting corruption. So, corruption's been reduced to 14%. I don't get a bribe. People strode happily through the streets. So, they liked all the watchmen I brought into play. And they like the food that they've been eating and all that stuff. For my noteworthy efforts, Jumoke get 4 legendary points. We only harvested 628 bushels of grain. The harvest failed, basically. 4 trade added 241 bushels of grain to our operation in 11 fields. 9 bushels were lost to spoilage. Salt accumulation destroyed 14 fields. So despite getting 11 fields, we lost a total of 3 fields altogether. 313 citizens died from violence and aging. Corruption, 509 children were born. 437 citizens entered the workforce. 281 warriors were killed, so we don't have to feed them. Capturing 41 fields, so we got extra land out of that, and I'm going to put that to work immediately. Fortunately, we had food in the granary. But as it is, I'm not even giving enough food for a bushel of grain per person. It's a bit light. We're going to continue to send warriors out in hopes that some of them die and capture land. But if things go badly, we won't be able to even maintain what we have if we get our harvest like that. That's the worst harvest I've seen. And we got a hero event going off. So this is an elite level hero event. Minister in charge of canals, roads, and public constructions was called Chief Administrator, a mighty title. He was considered least important. Least did not mean unimportant. Other high offices relied on the efficacy and efficiency. Jumoke questioned his respect for this chief administrator when the rammed earth of a major canal collapsed. River water flooded several of the great farms. The chief administrator's response was as tepid as the water. He sent out scribes to write reports. So, what shall I do? I get to choose. Jumoke sent laborers to immediately shore up the canal wall. Jumoke ordered scribes from his office to record the investigating scribes' actions. Jumoke complained to the other great offices about the need for action. Jumoke ordered farm workers to assist the chief administrator's scribes. I'm going to shore up the canal wall. Man of action. They were able to clear up the mess after several weeks' effort. Their success publicly embarrassed the chief administrator. Oh yeah. Afterwards, the chief administrator shored up his alliances with promises, power sharing, and legal rewards. He blamed and fired several subordinates. His office even threw a festival to honor the workers and craftsmen and managers. On the surface, his embarrassment was largely dismissed. Jumoke concentrated on performing the tasks of his own office to the best of his ability. Jumoke sent out feelers for political alliances to snare the chief administrator in a corruption scandal, or Jumoke met with representatives of other high offices to consider replacing the chief administrator. Now, so far, we've only won 10 legend points for what we've done, and we've had no other results. I'm going to meet with representative of other high officers to consider replacing the chief administrator. It was agreed he had to be replaced. They chose me, Jumoke. I'm now chief of public works, and I get 10 legendary points. Challenge of the age. That's it. I have all the power. So, we're doing the challenge of the age. So, welcome to my 2-for-1 video where you're not only seeing the elite track, but you're going to see the challenge of the age as we move to the Bronze Age. So, smoldering rebellion flared into flames of defiance. A colony of former citizens allied with an old enemy, the city of the Sun God. No, not the Sun God. 2 other colonies declared independence. They slowly curtailed the flow of their goods. The city of the Sky God had been weakened by multiple years of poor harvests, and they thought to extract a better price from the city that begat them. Jumoke was given emergency powers. I don't know what else I'm going to have. I already got control of everything, but you know what the hell. Jumoke was given emergency powers over the city's every function. Whispers of war broke into shouts demanding conquest. So, offensive war, defensive war. Ruthlessly overhauled the government, replacing it with loyal minions to tighten my grip. Reformed the government, placing talented and patriotic administrators in top positions. Drew instructors out of the school to invigorate every administrative body. I'm going to invigorate. Corruption plummeted as idealists filled the ranks. Although they were inexperienced, their enthusiasm and the looming war spurred existing administrators to greater efficiency. The enemy city, emboldened by those rebellious colonies, struck with a vast army. It swarmed against the walls, but it was soundly repulsed. The army then surrounded the city to starve it into submission. Jumoke accepted their siege, confident that the city could outlast the enemy. Jumoke sent out forces to prevent the city's isolation. Jumoke led his army out of the gates and against the enemy, or sent the whole army out of the gates and against the enemy. So, again, let's go with man of action. I'm going to lead the army out. Oh yeah. Their horrendous battle ended with no strong victor. The armies retreated back to the cities. Domestic trials challenged Jumoke in his city. What should he do with the powers invested in him? Jumoke relinquished power to the principal administrators. Jumoke resupplied the army and marched out for further conquest. Jumoke declared himself first king of the city, or Jumoke attempted to maintain his position of combined powers. I'm going to march out and try further conquests. City cut off additional supplies, thwarting Jumoke's ambitions. No! I retire. The legend continues in the Bronze Age. A far descendant of Jumoke adds to the legacy of Selk and Ket. So, we take the wheel down. Whoa! New wheels put in its place. Welcome to the Bronze Age. Oh, I've been demoted to the nobility. A century passed. Family stories told of the many trades and labors taken by his ancestors, but Thales took the professions of his father and his grandfather. He would be both physician and teacher. Thales swore to reach far in life, to grab some of its adventure. Thales had ambition to gain the king's favor someday, where Thales sought to learn many things, more than even doctors and teachers must know. So do I want to innovate, do I want to move up in the world, or do I want to do a heroism thing? So, I like to do an innovation just because that gives me a better position to educate kids, so I can then move educated kids around faster. But what the heck, we're gonna try and move up in the world. And we get a second chance on this. He thought to pursue a goal of legend of social advancement, gaining the king's attention would be expensive, cost more than mere gold. I was determined to take the family into the ranks of power. Alright. So, here we are. And we have one love interest, but she's on an astronomy spot. I have no astronomy tokens. I only have an alphabet token. She's a B, B+, or A. Look at that, an A. Agape has an A. Oh, Agape, I want to marry you. But I can't move forward except to an alphabet token, which is the one I have. I could theoretically try to sneak up into the outer track to use my school tokens, and that might work. It probably won't work, especially if there's anybody else of that class anywhere nearby. I mean, if I was out here all by myself, I might be able to sneak up here. But there's no point in sneaking up there unless there's a bead to grab. Really. Because while I can hang out on the upper track, I'm still just this class. And these are the people I have to marry, and these are the people that I'm skilled for. And as you can see, those are the skills that we have. And we have no advantages for the current age because we've moved to the Bronze Age. So the stuff that we discovered previously, like caravans and theater, that's all in the past. And it doesn't carry forward. It's a whole new age, and there's an Iron Age yet down the line. Okay? So, but we just moved into the Bronze Age. We're just starting out here. And that's us here. So, hope you enjoyed that. That was a lot more than I thought was going to go on. You got to see the Copper Age ruling track. You got to see the game with lots of power. You got to see the challenge of the Great Age, and you got to see us switch to the Bronze Age. So, if you have questions or comments or things to say, it's YouTube. You know what to do. It's down there. You can always like or subscribe if you want to follow on further. I'm still going to be making another video down the line as we move to the ruling game for the Bronze Age, and I'm going to make one for the Iron Age as well. I hope you enjoyed this. On behalf of dear deceased Jumoke, world's first king, by the way. See that? Oh, we've come down the world from being a king. I wish you all a great day. Thank you for watching. Bye, everybody.